Friends, I was doing so good on vocal rest. I was quiet. I was getting my work done. I was sipping my little cup of tea. It was all going so nicely. And then the cross-examination started. Oh my, did you watch? How much were you yelling at your TV? I was like, what? No? Oh my God. I went through all of the emotions. I went through like the 7 stages of grief or however many there are. Just like, oh my God, it's so frustrating. Alex refuses to answer a question just like straight out. I mean, but listen, he's on trial for his life. I would be saying like but and to every answer. It's like, I have one son who, when he was young, constantly got in trouble. And you would say, did you spill the gallon of milk on the floor? And he would go, well, let me explain. It's a yes or no question. Exhausting. Also, fascinating. The short story of what he did today was he got up there and he confessed his sins. Did you come from a church where you had to confess your sins? Like, I grew up in a faith tradition where you confess your sins publicly. Honey, that is another conversation for another day. But suffice it to say, at the altar call, they would say, will you come? Will you come to the Lord today? And you would walk yourself on down to the front of the church. And then you would be handed a microphone and you would confess, well, you were supposed to confess all of your sins in as much detail as possible to the entire congregation. Well, then the congregation would pray and forgive you, and the Lord will forgive you, and all of it will be good. Well, I was a heathen from way back. So that was like 40 years ago. I still remember certain people's sins. Listen, does that make me a bad person? Probably. But child, you didn't have to look for the tea when people was going up front telling it. Well, today, Alec Murdaugh gave his public confession to the murders. Oh, no. He didn't confess to none of that. He confessed to all the financial stuff. But Creighton was like, I need to know the details. Tell me exactly. You sat down and you looked this one in the eye and you lied to her and you convinced her that you were telling the truth. He was like, well, see, what happened was, Alec, we don't. And then they just went case by case by case. Lie after lie after lie, where he was like, I did a very bad thing and I hurt the people that I love and I know that was terrible. Alec, listen, you can run out this clock. I suspect he thinks that he could just be on the stand for 18 days like Jodi Arias and just never end up going to prison. I don't know. I wonder if he won't hang the jury, right? Like, I think he thinks he can probably hang the jury. But I've been looking at the polls for Fitz News, and the sentiment in the community is sharply turned against him. They really, really think this dude is guilty. And if you have to live in this very small town where, P.S., these murders, 911 was called at 10 o'clock. Girls, by 10:30, everybody was on the phone. Did you hear? Everybody in town know. So this is what I'm thinking. If you live in this small town, those people in the town know who's on the jury. They look over there like, oh, is that my mailman? Is that my son's 4th grade teacher? Like, everybody knows who these jury members are, right? So when you go to the Piggly Wiggly, when you go to the CVS, when you go to the Ace Hardware, everybody, if Alec is out here walking these streets, all your community members are going to be like, oh, it's her. After the boat crash, they started calling Maggie Murder Maggie. There goes Murder Maggie. Oh, okay. So if he is convicted, yeah, am I convinced he did it? Absolutely, I am convinced he did it. Did the prosecution put on a good case? In my opinion, yes. But that's because I already think he did it. For people who were like, I have questions, there's not enough proof, there's not enough information. There are enough holes in this case that if you wanted to find a hole, you could find a hole big enough to drive on through. Do you know anybody who's a conspiracy theorist? I personally am not a conspiracy theorist. I'm an Occam's razor kind of girl. But there are some conspiracy theorists who, like, the tiniest little opening, they will squeeze through and turn it into something else. If there is one conspiracy theorist on this trial, on this jury, who is happy to be an outcast in their community, because some people are, they will hang this jury. Listen, I sincerely hope that all of this gets resolved in a way that is the most equitable. Like, I want the thing that's supposed to happen. I trust that the thing that is supposed to happen will happen. Will he go down for murder? I do not know. I strongly believe that he'll take a plea on the financial crimes and hope to get federal time and hope to get less time. I do not know. Bernie Madoff faced life in prison. I suspect that Alex Murdaugh will spend the rest of his life in prison regardless, but who knows? Maybe he'll feel better about himself saying, yes, I'm a criminal. I had a bad drug habit, but I didn't kill my family. Oh, and they said, how long have you been off opiates? And he said 565 days. And I'm very proud of that, however long it's been. That just means you've been off opiates while you were in prison. Now, I'm sure there are opiates in prison. I have not been to prison. I have not taken opioids, but I would suspect that you could find them if you really, really wanted them. So good for him for not getting high in prison. He's still gambling because we heard that in the prison phone calls. Is he drinking Pruno? Is he making Pruno? No matter what happens, he's going to run a racket. He's going to be the big man on campus and he's going to do whatever. So cockroaches know how to stay alive, right? After a nuclear war, after whatever, cockroaches know how to stay alive. Alex Murdaugh is the kind of man who's going to do just fine no matter how he ends up. He's not getting the death penalty. For my own personal sense of justice, I think he should go down. I think he should be found guilty of murder, and I think his feelings should be hurt. His family should be shamed, and all the other crimes that he has done should come to light. Will they? Unlikely. Will I get everything I want? I don't know. It remains to be seen. Tomorrow, cross-examination continues. Meanwhile, Poo-Poo and them have flown in a couple of experts, and they're like, these experts are not going to take that much time. Could you just let them go first, and then you could get back to Alec later? And Creighton was like, no. Creighton's having none of their mess. And good for Creighton, because we need to sit and focus and concentrate. Also, I don't know. I have a bunch of meetings and stuff on Monday, so I need to be available to watch the cross-examination. I hope it wraps up tomorrow, or maybe Saturday, because I'm free then too. I need to be available to view this entire cross-examination. Otherwise, I'm going to have to move a bunch of meetings around, and we don't want that. They don't need to mess up my schedule like that. But Alex, experts or whoever are going to stay in town and run up that budget. So the 3 cents that the Murdaughs had left are all going to go to his defense. He's not going to get nothing on his books. Poor him. All right. I need to go have a popsicle and focus on some more vocal rest so I can rant and rave tomorrow at my TV. I will see y'all in the morning. Have a good night. Oh, I'm going to a watch party of the Netflix documentary on the Murdaugh case. There's a Facebook group that I'm in. It's called Ellen and Rabia Solve the Case. I think that's what it's called. But it's like a true crime group. They are having a watch party tonight, and I will be there. I hope to see you there. Bye.